like to call to order the Milan Area School Board of Education regular meeting for Wednesday, December 13th, 2023. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you to everyone attending this evening, and then who will be watching on video. All board members are present. I believe Ms. Gutierrez is just going to be walking in there soon, so she will be joining us soon. We'll mark the time when she joins us, and our student board members are represented as well. We will start with communications and public comment. A reminder that this meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public meeting. There are 2 times for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. When addressing the board, you will be asked to state your name. The board determines the amount of time granted to individuals or groups to speak. Each person shall be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes. Board members may question speakers but are not obligated to answer questions or make statements or commitments in response to issues raised by the public. In general, such items will be referred to the superintendent for advisement, investigation, study, and/or recommendation, or designated as future agenda items for board consideration. Are there any students who'd like to address the board? Are there any public members who'd like to address the board?
Hi, my name is Margaret Durkee, and I am an employee of Milan Area Schools. I've been here for over 23 years. I know that tonight you guys are going to vote on the letter of agreement, and I do believe that it is fair, but I also believe that when contract negotiations come up, that you should still think about an increase in the wages for the paras again, and for the administrative assistants and the custodians. Thank you.
Thank you for the comment, and thank you for your service. Thank you. We can have the minutes reflect that Ms. Gutierrez arrived at 7:02. Are there any other public comments? All right. Make sure I shut this. We don't need this to go off. All right. Next up, for routine matters of approval, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December 5th, 2023.
Moved by Murray.
Support by Gutierrez.
It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December 5th, 2023. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, it's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December 5th, 2023. Ms. Heike.
Murray.
Yes.
Pryor.
Yes.
Rosenleacher.
Yes.
Sislo.
Yes.
Farrow.
Yes.
Gutierrez.
Yes.
Heike, yes. Motion carries 6-0. 7.
7-0.
I can't count tonight. I don't know why we're missing someone.
There we go.
I know.
Next up, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of December 5th, 2023.
Moved by Farrow.
Support by Pryor.
It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of December 5th, 2023. A reminder that these minutes are located in the envelopes for your review. Is there any questions or concerns? You can go ahead and pass those in. So moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of December 5th, 2023. Ms. Heike.
Pryor.
Yes.
Rosenleacher.
Yes.
Sislo.
Yes.
Farrow.
Yes.
Gutierrez.
Yes.
Heike, yes. Murray. Yes. Motion carries 7-0.
All right, next up in our strategic plan in the area of finance and operations, as was stated, we have a letter of agreement with the Milan Area School Support Staff, better known as MASSS, as an attachment A. I need a motion to approve this letter of agreement with Milan Area School Staff as included in attachment A. This approval is a contingent upon the Milan Area School Support Staff ratification of the same letter of agreement.
Moved by Farrow.
Support by Murray.
So moved and supported to approve the letter of agreement with the Milan Area School support staff as included in attachment A. This approval is contingent upon the MASSS ratification of the same letter of agreement. Is there any discussion? Mr. Gearbaud, would you like to present?
This is pretty much the same letter of agreement that we had previously, other than those salaries that we had adjusted. We adjusted an additional 25 cents. Part of the reason is that by the union bylaws, they cannot vote on the same LOA twice. There was a lot of drive in the union to get a lot more people to become paying dues members that can now vote. So I think there is a very good chance that the outcome will be different. My understanding is that they will be voting on the 15th, so 2 days from today. And we look forward, hopefully, to a successful vote tonight and a successful vote then, and to be able to move forward and to get our parapro salaries a little bit closer to where they need to be.
Any questions for Mr. Gearbaugh?
Mr. Sislo, I don't have a question. I just have a couple of comments. First, Ms. Durkee, thank you for coming. You've been here for several meetings now, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate your fellow parapros and all the work that you guys do in this district. And I can't agree with you more that our parapros need an increase in pay. They do. What I do want to say, however, is that opening up a contract mid-contract year to offer pay increases is kind of unprecedented. It does not happen often. And I think in this case it was needed. I mean, our parapros need and deserve more, and we need to be able to attract more parapros. And while I appreciate the bylaws of the union's bylaws, I am feeling a little held hostage here because the original LOA was denied. And so in order for us to give the parapros the pay increase that we intended to give when we reopened this contract, we are now having to give more money to the administrative assistants. And from my perspective, I don't know that that was really the goal. The goal was to address the parapros, and we did address the administrative assistants. And based on the email traffic that we received, it didn't appear as though it was the parapros that had voted no on the original LOA, and here we are. So I'm feeling a little held hostage. I'm feeling like there was a bit of gamesmanship going on a bit with this negotiation with some members of the union. I'm not saying all, but some members of the union. And the only reason I'm voting yes and supporting this is because I know how desperately needed this raise is for the parapros. But to your point, Mrs. Durkee, I'm not going to forget this when contract negotiations come up the next time. So that's, yeah, I'm going to vote yes tonight, but I have serious reservations, and I am not very happy about how this process went down.
Mr. Sislo.
Yes, Mr. Farrow.
I want to echo what Ms. Heike had to say. Obviously, our immediate need was making sure that the paras received, a big increase, and I think we accomplished that. I did reach out to Mr. Gearbaugh on the costs associated with increasing the pay by 25 cents more per hour. 25 cents more per hour, and the expense was, in my view, nominal. But I do agree with Ms. Heike. While the administrative assistants are important, they were not our immediate need. The immediate need for the district is paras. The immediate need is to keep paras, to retain paras, and I'm of the same mindset as Ms. Heike. I'm going to support the approval of this agreement because we need to make sure that we are paying our paras more. And we will address administrative assistance, and that'll be obviously during the next contract negotiation. So those are my comments, and I'm prepared to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. Others? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the letter of agreement with the Milan Area School Support Staff, MASS, as included in attachment A. This approval is contingent upon the Milan Area School Support Staff ratification of the same letter of agreement. Ms. Heike.
Rosenleacher,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
I abstain due to a conflict of interest.
Heike, yes. Murray,
Yes.
Pryor.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Thank you. Next up is a grant update for the board and community. Mr. Gearbaugh and Mr. McMahon.
Evening. I'm going to give you an update today on 2 grants that we've recently submitted. I've already shared that with, well, I shared with you that 23G got submitted by December 1st. I'll share with you tonight that 31AA got submitted last week. Part of the requirement for these grants is that we update the community and the board and offer opportunity for feedback, which this meeting will count for. We're also going to have some opportunities for more feedback as we go. We'll start with, well, by saying that we're in compliance with the law as required here. So the Section 23G grant is a new one in Michigan. It's called Michigan Kids Back on Track. It's essentially a carryover of ESSER funds to address learning loss, specifically unfinished learning, addressing students and providing support for those falling or at risk of falling behind. And there's also a post-secondary preparation component to it that you can address. The funding for this grant was estimated at $300 per student that was not proficient or partially proficient on the previous MSTEP assessment and PSAT assessment, which for us equates to about $275,000. That's simply an estimate. They just give you that to start thinking about your budget. The expenditure periods for this, it actually starts now. We can start spending this money now, even though we've not been approved, and it goes through the following school year and up to September of 25. We have to spend this money. We are targeting all of our application here for both these grants to be spent next year and the year after, so 23-24 and 24-25. To be eligible for this, there's a 3-part application. The first part was just submitting a form saying we're interested, so we did that. The second part is submitting something in the state's grant system, the new system called Nexus, that kind of outlines what we intend to do with it. Once that gets, we've actually got the approval on that our plan is approved. Once it gets officially kicked back to us, then we can actually submit a budget and then go for official approval and get the funds sent to us. And then another component is that we have an opportunity for public feedback to kind of make sure this is a community thing. The 31AA grant it's a carryover of a grant that we received this year called 31AA and, Ryan just told me, is it like 97C? Or, yeah, which is a safety and security grant. They put those two together for this round of applications, so the money kind of doubled. The legislature allocated $310 million to this one, and similar to the 23G, there's a big pot of money they put out there, and then they tell you a plan of how they kind of estimate the funding. In this case, it has to be for student mental health and safety and security updates. The only kind of piece of this is that at least 50% of it has to be on student mental health. You can kind of blend these funds though, because it's under one umbrella this year. The funds are estimated at $220 per student. What they do is they take all the eligible students in Michigan. This actually works for private schools too. They're eligible for this. And then they divide the total amount by that. So for us, it's about $410,000 if every single student and district was awarded the grant. Again, the expenditure period we're going to use, it'll be for the following 2 school years. In this case, there's a 2-step application. We've completed the first step. We're waiting to see, get our plan approved, and we can officially submit a budget for approval. And we also have to have community feedback, which this meeting is. So when we look at these grants and where to best spend our funds and allocate them per the grant guidelines, one thing we look at is the data review. We all make our decisions based on the data where it's needed. In this case, specifically around student assessment. We do the benchmark assessments. For us, it's NWA and PSAT. I provide those updates for you. We've already done the first one this year, which really didn't contain data. I'll give you one in February about the NWA and PSAT from the fall, the SAT suite of assessments, and then we'll do it again at the end of the year. And then also our internal reviews. What that review shows us is that our special education students are at risk or behind our general ed students, and our economically disadvantaged students are also in the same category. and our at-risk population, which is 77% of our students are considered at risk for one factor or another. So that's where we're going to drive our funds. We know this. We also know that all students will benefit from additional mental health supports. And I say that like a blanket statement. I don't think we're close to the saturation point of support. We can always use more counselors, social work, McKinney-Vento support, wherever we can get it. So we know that. And I think it's fair to say that our stakeholders, all of them, would support using grant funds to provide added security to our buildings. The district improvement process, technically all your grants have to be kind of in conjunction with your school improvement plans, your district improvement plans. That's always been a thing. You used to have them on file. This year for 23G, and we use the same for 31AA, you had to actually submit part of your plans that are now generated in a system called MyKIP, which is the Michigan Continuous Improvement Process Guide. That replaced the advanced ed system we used to use. It's just a online format to submit plans. And so we're in compliance with that. We've updated our goals to address our data needs. A lot of that falls within our annual internal review process, the cyclical review that we do, where the buildings themselves analyze their assessment data, their stakeholder feedback data, and then their goals and plans, present back to a visiting team. And then that all gets wrapped up into a comprehensive needs assessment, a CNA document, which is required by the state, not required to be submitted, just required to be on file. And I would conjecture that a lot of districts don't have that. We have one for each building. The final touches are being put on this year's version, which will be posted on our website. So we're in full compliance with the school improvement requirements for these grants, which is kind of new. I would like to share with you the goals that came out of it. These aren't too different than what you've seen in the past. They're aligned to our benchmark assessment goals. The way we have to write them is that we want to reduce the gap between our economically disadvantaged and special education students, and then the gap to the generals, or the all student average, by 25%. We write it that way because we're talking about two different tests. The NWA is a different scale than the PSAT, so we just say reduce the gap by 25%. We measure the gap in the fall, we measure it again in the spring, and we see if we bring that down. The strategies that fall within those goals, they're broken down to math and literacy. At K-5, we have 2 math interventionists, one at each building, Paddock and Simons. They implement the program called Bridges. We already have that. We purchased that. We can supplement with these funds, so these funds would help. You'll see in a second. At the middle school would be a program called Maneuver in the Middle. There's an intervention piece that we can use, the math teachers, and even during WIN time for support, for extra support. Literacy, we've been driving literacy intervention for a long time at our elementary buildings. The LLI program, Level Literacy. AARI is the new program we started last year. Kim Rock at the middle school is implementing that. She's fully trained, and we're working that into 2 sections each trimester this year. And then we've added this year the disciplinary literacy training for the high school teachers. That's a big focus for us there. So we're going to use those funds in line with those strategies, with these funds. So specifically for the 23G application, and I'll tell you our strategy here, but we broke it up to math and literacy. And the goal essentially is to provide materials, the curriculum for intervention, and the folks that would provide that intervention. For math, we requested a little over $300,000 to purchase the curriculum materials and provide 2 interventionists, one at both elementaries. Those are currently funded under 11T, which is an ESSER 3 kind of push out, and also the 98C grant mitigating learning loss, which was new last year, which about this time last year I presented to you, because that was also a requirement of that grant. This is a new thing, this community input, which is a good thing. So we just want to supplement those 2 positions and materials with these funds. And then literacy requested a little over $425,000 to do the same thing. And it's to support the curriculum materials and the folks that are providing those interventions. They're currently funded with at-risk Title I, and there's a 35A5 grant. It's additional instructional time that we just recently submitted and got approved. It's not a lot of money, but it helps cover some of the folks that do that work. You'll notice that the amount we requested, $725,000, is more than our estimate. And we did that on purpose because we don't know what our final allocation will be, and we don't anticipate. In fact, I know a couple districts that are not applying for these funds. So we know that there will be more than the amount per pupil. We don't know how much more, so we sort of asked for a significant amount more. And if we get it, great. That the more we can be approved for here, then you can carry over at-risk funds, which is we bankroll a lot of these with at-risk funds. If we carry that over, we can spend that the next year. So kind of push those funds down the road. That's the idea here. I don't expect to get $725,000, but I would like to get more than the initial allocation. 31AA, we used a similar strategy, and I'll break this down into 2 parts. The first is student mental health. We requested a little over $400,000 here. One, to employ a mental health coordinator, and that that job's actually currently posted. That job will focus significantly on our MTSS process, kind of a K-12, which is the multi-tiered system of supports to drive interventions. We have a lot of the pieces in place. We do interventions, but we'd like to align that K-12, the SIT process and how we do that and the language used across K-12. So that job would help with that piece, and then also some behavior supports specific at the high school and then also across the district. We'd like to continue the employment of the McKinney-Vento coordinator, which is currently 11T funded. That's Sarah O'Neill. She's doing fantastic work. We want to keep that position in place. McKinney-Vento is our homeless students. That's the coordinating services for those folks. Employ a 504 plan coordinator, which we just recently hired Chris Gill to return to the district to do that position. We also want to provide stipends for social work interns. We want to make Milan an attractive place for interns to come, and then we want to have them have a good experience with a little stipend and come back and be our employees, because they're hard to find, social workers now. So we can use these funds to kind of provide some support for the interns that come down and help us. We would like to purchase a K-12, it's a mental health screener assessment. There's different versions. The DESA, the BASC, or the BASC are two, and the SABRE, the third we're looking at. We'd like to get that in place. That would happen across the district. It's a quick screener that teachers can give, and it's given, and for the older students, they would take the assessment. For younger, the teachers give it. But it kind of flags students right away. So it's a way to kind of know where to drive supports in a pretty quick way. And then we also want to implement a district-wide mental health and wellness initiative, which tomorrow at our admin council, we're having a representative from an initiative called Be Nice come in to talk with the administrators. It's not a really expensive program, but it looks kind of cool. So we're going to speak with the reps and see what it's all about. The other piece of the 31AA is school safety and security. We've requested a little over $500,000 to upgrade our infrastructure. It's upgrade and add security cameras in and around our buildings, also on our buses, including swing arm cameras. So when the buses stop, they would be able to video if someone not in compliance with what we need them to do. We also want to look at our door locking in the classrooms, the safety, hardware. If we change, there's a couple options if we're adding mechanisms or just upgrading hardware, in some cases both. We would like to update our phone and PA systems. And depending on how much money we get, you can get a new integration where you can make PA calls from the phone in an easier manner. And then other supplies that we would need for classroom in regards to safety. And again, that we're over requesting. We don't know how much we'll get. I don't know if everybody will apply for it. We hope that we get more than the estimate, but probably not nearly $1 million. And then the last slide here is just that, these are reporting requirements that so not only provide this opportunity to share with you what our plans are and then be open to feedback, but also with all grants, you have to review them every year. You spent money, what did you implement, how did it work, you have to provide that. We'll do that. I do that with all of our grants, and I get a lot of help from the district level, the teachers that run these grants. I will be able to revise the plan. We can always amend grant applications. I meet with the principals regularly. In the admin team, we just do quarterly updates on the grants and say, how's it going? Do we need to tweak anything, move anything? Because you want to, put these monies to good work. We will post this presentation on our transparency page. And I also want to just officially announce that if anybody has any input or questions, email me directly and I'd be happy to meet with you or just communicate via email. Does the board have any questions or comments?
I just want to say thank you, Mr. McMahon. It's amazing. I appreciate all the work that you do to research these grants and bring this information to us and keep us on the cutting edge in regards to that and keep us in compliance. So I just want to express our thanks in regards to that.
Of course. And I want to thank Krista Hendricks too. She's a big piece of this. So.
Then Krista as well.
Yeah.
Others? All right. Thank you. Next up in the area of personnel and leadership, we have a teacher appointment. I need a motion to approve Allison Davis as the Milan Middle School science teacher effective immediately.
Motion by Rosenleacher.
Support by Heike.
So I'm moving supported to approve Allison Davis as a Milan Middle School science teacher effective immediately. Mr. Gearbaugh.
This position was created when we had an unexpected resignation from one of our middle school science teachers. We followed the procedures for hiring a certified teacher. We were lucky in that a former Simons Elementary School teacher applied for the position. She holds an elementary certificate as well as middle school science. So she is someone, we did still run a full interview process. But obviously having years of experience with someone carries a little bit more weight than a 1 or 2 hour interview. And so feel very lucky to be able to bring her back into Milan. Um, and we know that she's going to do a great job. Our goal is to let her know as soon as she's approved. She'll have to obviously give her notice at her current district. Um, and then we'll get her here as quickly as we can. And we will cover that position with a sub for the first week or two after we get back from break until Mrs. Davis can get here.
Questions or concerns? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve Allison Davis as a Milan Middle School science teacher effective immediately. Ms. Heika?
Sislo,
Yes.
Pharaoh,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heike, yes, Murray,
Yes.
Pryor,
Yes.
Rosenleacher.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, now back into our area of communications and community engagement. Back to public comments. Are there any students who'd like to address the board? Are there any public members who'd like to address the board? All right, hearing none, we will go on to our student board representative comments. Ms. Farrow?
Upcoming events at the high school include on Thursday, girls JV and varsity basketball teams have games at Huron High School at 5:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. and the boys swimming team has a home meet at 6 p.m. On Friday, there's a boys JV and varsity basketball game at Huron High School at 5:30 and 7 p.m. The exam cram for the high school students taking exams next week is on Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. at the high school, and exams for high school students take place on December 21st and the 22nd. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Farrow. Ms. Powell?
Reminder that to all the students of Milan High School that club photos for the yearbook is tomorrow. So students, check your emails, make sure you know what time your club is having their photo. Congratulations to the girls varsity basketball team once again on their home opening win against Dundee last Thursday, having the final score be 38-27. Girls varsity bowling finished 9th place at the Huron Holiday Tournament with 1,802 points. Boys varsity bowling finished 18th at the Huron Holiday Tournament with 2,208 points. Okay, here's the big stuff. Boys basketball had a game last night at Britton Deerfield High School. I don't know how that went. Friday, December 15th versus Huron High School at New Boston Huron at 5:30 and 7 p.m. December 19th versus Jefferson High School at Jefferson at 5:30 and 7. Wednesday, December 20th versus Ypsilanti Community High School at home at 5:30 and 7. Tuesday, January 9th versus Airport High School, which I'm sure Ms. Fright will be attending that, at home at 5:30 and 7. Friday, January 12th versus Riverview High School at home at 5:30 and 7. Tuesday, January 16th versus Garden City High School at home at 5:30 and 7. Middle school boys basketball had a game tonight versus Groseal Middle School at home at 4 p.m. Monday, December 18th versus Riverview Middle School at home at 5 p.m. Tuesday, December 19th versus Flat Rock Simpson Middle School at the gym at Simpson Middle School at Flat Rock at 5 p.m. Girls basketball had a game Monday night versus Lincoln High School, which unfortunately both teams had lost that game. Thursday, December 14th versus Huron High School at New Boston Huron at 5:30 and 7. Monday, December 18th versus Jefferson High School at Jefferson at 5:30 and 7. Friday, January 5th versus Erie Mason High School at Erie Mason at 5:30 and 7. Monday, January 8th versus Airport High School at home at 5:30 and 7. Thursday, January 11th at Riverview High School at home versus Riverview High School at home at 5:30 and 7. Tuesday, January 16th versus Garden City High School in the main gym at Garden City High School at 5:30 and I'm guessing this is a typo, 6 p.m. Guessing they meant to put 7. Bowling, girls and boys bowling, Friday, December 15th versus Riverview High School at the Monroe Sports Center at 3:15. Monday, December 18th versus Monroe Jefferson High School at Flat Rock Lanes at 3:15. Wednesday, December 20th versus New Boston Huron at home, which is our Station 300 in Saline, at 3:15. Tuesday, December 9th is versus Flat Rock High School at Flat Rock Lanes at 3:15. Friday, January 12th versus Airport High School at the Lodge Lanes in Belleville at 3:15. Boys High School swimming tonight, they go against Chelsea and Dexter at the Chelsea Beach Middle School at 6 p.m. I'm sure Ms. Heike is getting updates on that. Oh, well, sorry. I was typing this out. I was typing this out last night, so it kind of messed me up. Thursday, December 14th versus Ypsilanti High School at home at 6 p.m. Saturday, January 6th versus Erie Mason for the Erie Mason IDA event or invite at Erie Mason High School at 4 p.m. Saturday, January 13th for the Holland Christian D3 invite at Holland Christian High School at 12 p.m. Middle school swimming, Thursday, December 14th versus Flat Rock Simpson Middle School away at 4 p.m. I'm guessing it's at their middle school. It doesn't say the location on there. Tuesday, December 19th versus Dundee Middle School at home at 4 p.m. Monday, January 8th versus which is the Ypsilanti Lincoln Tri at Lincoln High School at 6 p.m. Thursday, January 11th versus Erie Mason Middle School at Erie Mason High School at 4 p.m. Saturday, January 13th is the Milan Middle School invite at home. Sorry, I lost where I was looking. At 10 a.m. Tuesday, January 16th versus Ann Arbor Green Hills at 4 p.m. at home. And wrestling, they have started off their season amazingly, which I am not at all surprised. They have a meet today for the Whitmore Lake duels at Whitmore Lake High School at 5 p.m. December 16th versus is the Jefferson Sheriff's invite at Jefferson High School at 9 a.m. Wednesday, December 20th versus Airport and Flat Rock at Airport High School at 5 p.m. Wednesday, January 10th versus Grosse Ile and New Boston Huron at home at 5:30 p.m. And Saturday, January 13th is the Boston Clark Walker invite, which has a currently unknown location at 9 a.m. And that is all.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Powell. Thank you, Ms. Farrell. Back to Mr. McMahon for Assistant Superintendent comments.
Thank you. Yep. So I want to just officially say the 31AA grant's been submitted. I just gave you all the details on it. We requested nearly $1 million, as I said, to support mental health and student safety. I also, just one update I just want to share with you. I attended the McCall, it's a computer users group in Michigan, tech group. They did an AI summit today in Lansing, and Jennifer Bookout and Aaron Shin and I were able to attend. It was great. There were three main sessions highlighted by Khan Academy founder, Sal Khan. It was a video, but it was like a Q&A. It was really cool. He's talking about his new advancements, and then an author and a CEO of a company in AI. It's scary is what it is. It's the technology is improving so fast, it's gonna be really hard for schools to stay in front. But we were able to gain a lot of tools we can share, and tomorrow at council, we'll be sharing those with the principals to hopefully just get them out to the teachers to start playing around with it and using it as we develop a framework around the appropriate uses of it for staff and students. But that was a good experience today. I just wanted to share that with you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. McMahon. Next up is Superintendent comments. Mr. Gearbaugh.
Yes, thank you. A few things to share. This time of year is always filled with music. Our high school and middle school bands performed an amazing concert last Wednesday. All of the bands and special groups, and they have quite a few of them now, did an amazing job. We just want to thank Mrs. Upton and congratulate all of our musicians. This week has been full of musical performances by our students, and the music continues both tonight and tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, the kindergarten and first graders will be performing at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. respectively. Monday, our fourth and fifth graders sang incredibly well. And Tuesday, our second and third graders performed very beautiful music. Tonight, our middle school and high school choirs with a select elementary group are performing actually right now down in the theater. Again, congratulations to all of these groups who performed, and good luck to those who are performing tonight and performing tomorrow. Thank you to Mr. Brooks, our elementary music teacher, and Mrs. Powell, our secondary choir teacher. And just congratulations to all of those singers. The elementary students have just done a phenomenal job this year. If you were able to attend any of those, just really impressive. And as you know, our high school and middle school choirs are always very impressive. Our staff had a successful professional development day on Friday, December 8th. Each building enjoyed topics specific to their school. And we just want to thank all of those who helped plan and provide the professional development. Remember, our PD is not always just run by our principals. We have a lot of instructional coaches and teachers and other folks that get involved, and we just want to thank them for all of the time they put into building that professional development and then presenting it to their colleagues. Last, I want to remind everyone that we do have one more week of school before break. Friday, December 22nd is our last day of school in the year 2023. I also want to wish all of our staff, students, and parents in our community a wonderful, peaceful, and relaxing break. Whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or another holiday, we all wish you well. We look forward to seeing everyone back in school on Monday, January 8th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gearbaugh. Next up is board member comments.
Mr. Sislo?
Yes, Ms. Rosenleacher.
First, to our students that are here tonight, just we will be going into a closed session, but if you want to hear the outcome of the superintendent evaluation, you can log into the YouTube video tomorrow sometime, or not tomorrow, the next day, so you can hear the outcome of that for your reports that I know you have to do. Just a quick reminder, there is community input for the Simons Elementary principal being held on Monday, December 18th at 5:30 here in the boardroom for any of our community members who are interested in participating in that. I want to wish good luck to all of our high school students on exams next week. I know that's a tenuous time, but you get a 2-week break after that. So hopefully that will be a great reward. And echoing Mr. Gearbaugh's comments, just wishing everyone a very joyful and restful holiday season, no matter the holiday that you celebrate. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rosenleacher. Others?
Mr. Sislo.
Yes, Mr. Farrow.
Just briefly, I want to wish everyone a great holiday season, and we'll see you back on January 8th. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Farrow. Others?
Mr. Sislo?
Yes, Ms. Murray.
Just briefly, I'll echo some congrats and thanks to our amazing music staff here at Milan Area Schools. We, as a fellow vocal musician, I just have so much respect and admiration for the 3 teachers that we have in our district. They are all 3 accomplished musicians themselves, and they bring so much knowledge and passion. I learned that Mr. Brooks could pretty much teach me any instrument in the band, not orchestra. He specifically specified not strings. However, yeah, just the amount of depth of knowledge that is possessed in our music department is just astounding, and it shows. That I've had the privilege of working with students in our theater programs over the years, and they come to the musical with such a deep base of knowledge, and not just how to sing nice, but music theory, and they're learning how to read notes and how to just be musicians. So thank you very much to them. And Miss Upton, I hope you got your Bruce Springsteen ticket. I don't know if happy belated birthday to her as well. And thank you to all the staff who participated in the internal review process, and to Mr. McMahon for and indeed our superintendent staff at large for leading our district through that reflective practice is something that I have always really valued as a teacher in the district, and I just know that it leads to such a deep understanding amongst staff at every level in terms of what our students need, how our district is progressing, what our celebrations are, which is also hugely important. We spend a lot of time in education thinking about, oh gosh, how far we have to go and what do we have left to accomplish and what do our students need. But I think that internal review process is also highly critical in helping us recognize our areas of strength and what we can celebrate each year. So just thank you to all who engaged in that process, and welcome back to Miss Davis. It's a great classroom.
Nice.
So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ray. Others?
Mr. Sislo.
Yeah, Ms. Heika.
I don't have much, but I did want to let the community know that the LOA that we voted on earlier today only addressed pay increases. It didn't address other portions of our contract with that union. And because it only addressed the pay increase, I don't have the professional conflict that I usually have on these contracts, which is why I was able to vote on it tonight. So I just wanted to make that clear, why there are times that I have to abstain and times that I don't. Tonight was a night time I didn't have to. Other than that, I also want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. Good luck to all of you with your exams this week. Go to the exam cram. There are going to be so many teachers who are volunteering their time to come and help you guys if you need it, even if it's just to tell you it's going to be okay and have some hot chocolate. But come, it's a great resource, and this will prepare you for next year when your professors have office hours. It's kind of the same concept. So just helping you through exams, getting you ready for the resources that will be available to you next year too. So take advantage, guys.
Others? Yes, Ms. Gutierrez.
I too would like to thank all of our musicians in the district. I had the pleasure of going to the band concert the other night because I have a 7th grade trumpet player, and then to the Simons Winter Concert. And Miss Maria's very right. We have extremely talented students as well as teachers and leaders in the district, and I'm just very grateful. And notably, I was struck by Mrs. Upton talking about how not only does she teach students to play the instruments and to read music, but also teaches the music history and the music theory. And they were specifically playing a piece from the 1300s. And my son told me all about it later that night. And I appreciate the well-rounded perspective that comes out of education like that. And I'm extremely grateful to all of them. I want to apologize for being a little bit late tonight. The chorus concert or the choir concert was something that was not on my radar. And so parking was a bit busy tonight, so that threw me off just a little bit. And then finally, just wishing our high school students good luck on exams. I know how stressful that can be, but you'll do great, and I hope everyone has a lovely winter break, a peaceful winter break, and if you are traveling, please have safe travels, and I'll see you all in the new year.
Awesome. Any others?
Mr. Sislo.
Yes.
This one right here.
Yes, Ms. Powell.
I just wanted to point out that during the Big Red time today, the juniors and seniors all had a meeting about the mentorship program that we have. And as a mentor last year, I absolutely loved it and definitely want, because there's only 20 to 30 spots to be filled, definitely hope that people take it seriously and really consider it, because it is a lot of fun and you get to work with a lot of people and help the middle schoolers as they transition into high school. So it's a great opportunity.
Excellent. Yeah, I just want to wish a happy new year to the entire Milan area district. Thank you for all the work that you have brought forward to this board, the students, the staff, administration. The board greatly appreciates all your work. Everyone does deserve a great break. And a happy new year. When we come back, we know we have more work to do. So like Mr. Gearbaugh said, rest up. And we appreciate all the work that you do. And please celebrate safely with your families. All right. With that, we have new business in regards to personnel matters. I need a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 81A of the Michigan Open Meetings Act and upon request of the employee for the purpose of conducting a periodic personnel evaluation.
Moved by Heike.
Support by Farrell.
It's been moved and supported to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 81A of the Michigan Open Meetings Act and upon request of the employee for the purpose of conducting a periodic personnel evaluation. Just for everyone's education, this is the only item of business as part of the closed session, and the only item of business after the closed session will be to vote on that superintendent evaluation rating. That'll be the only business after that, and we will adjourn after that announcement is made. We do have a guest, Mr. Scott Morrell from MASB, Michigan Association of School Boards, to help us facilitate that. I do want to let everyone know with the recent appointment of Ms. Pryor, she has not had the opportunity to go through the training, but she is going to participate as an observer in the evaluation. And she will abstain from the vote, but she will be following the evaluation process as we go forward. So, are there any other questions or concerns regarding going into closed session? All right, hearing none. It's been moved and supported to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 81A of the Michigan Open Meetings Act and upon request of the employee for the purpose of conducting a periodic personnel evaluation. Ms. Heike?
Pharaoh,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heike, yes. Murray,
Yes.
Pryor,
Yes.
Rosenleacher,
Yes.
Sislo.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
So we are going into closed session at 7:45. If you do need your things signed, you can have Ms. Heike sign them. Drive home safely.
Came to the right meeting.
I know.
All right, we are returning to open session at 9:53 p.m. I need a motion to rate Superintendent Brian Gearbaugh as highly effective for the 2023-2024 school year.
Moved by Heike.
Support by Farrell.
It's been moved and supported to rate Superintendent Brian Gearbaugh as highly effective for the 23-24 school year. Is there any discussion? Hearing.
Oh, can
yeah.
I just say well earned? There we go.
Ms. Heike?
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heike, yes. Murray,
Yes.
Pryor,
I'm abstaining because I've not yet completed the MASB superintendent evaluation training.
Rosenleacher,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Pharaoh.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
And we are adjourned at 9:54.
Okay, don't go.